I'm Lee Green. I'm an artist, and this is Una Plática. I wasn't really inspired by anyone to be an artist. I simply was. I spent a lot of time working on that. I was a very visual learner, and I interpreted things through visual images. I also had very intense dreams, which I could control and edit even as a child. And I would try to record the feelings and images I saw in my dreams when I was making artwork. My artwork comes from the inside out. It's about trying to express feelings and thoughts that you have in your mind, rather than trying to copy the outward objects and the world. I don't assemble from the outside in, I assemble my pieces from the inside out. My stories are based in early childhood. My sister, who is 4, died when I was 2. Suddenly, unexpectedly, and we were away from home. And because I was so young, no one ever thought that I had noticed that I had a sister that suddenly disappeared in the middle of the night. No one talked to me about it except my paternal grandmother. And she always talked to me like I was an adult. But she lived out of town in Houston. I was growing up in San Antonio. And no one in my daily life recognized that I was depressed and aware of my missing sister. I was depressed since the time I was 2. I used to cry for hours because I felt so sad that my mother had lost her firstborn child, who had a personality that fit my mother's just great. And my personality was alien to my mother. So one later funeral that I was at with the extended family, one little old lady came up to me when I was about 4 or 5 and said, "You know, it's so sad your sister died, but don't be sad, because God needed another angel, and she was so perfect, he took her to heaven where she could be happy." And that left me with a lot of guilt, because if I had been a better little girl, God would have taken me and Mother would have had her favorite child. And so I was trying to be so good that God would switch us out. And I was in 3rd grade before I figured out that was magical thinking and it would never happen. Meanwhile, people are saying, "You're a pretty little girl. Why aren't you being happy? Smile, smile, smile," all the time, and not ever recognizing that I was an unhappy child. They didn't want to see that. So my artwork, as I grew, became recognize and share with people that they experience pain, And to share that feeling of, I recognize that you've had pain, that that you've had trauma, and rather than insisting you pretend to be happy. There are people I admire, but there is nobody that I consider there are people I think are very good, but not a superhero concept. Oh, it has been such a wonderful part of my life, from the poetry readings to the Day of the Dead exhibitions, collaborations, lectures, and an opportunity to share my work with others. I think that's very important to me personally. I think for the city, it certainly needed. I mean, we did not used to have different ethnic groups working together. 30, 40 years ago. And it has allowed a community which respects and shares different cultures together, and it's been a big part of that. Well, the Day of the Dead and the altars is one that I really love. I've really enjoyed poetry readings and music, but I would guess Day of the Dead certainly, and it's bringing the visual and the altars and performance all together, so it's very rich. That it's varied. It is. You have many different genres and styles and groups presenting many different things. I have been living in a golf retirement community for the last few years because my husband had to transfer out to the Austin area, and I was in what was the retirement golf community, and I felt starved. I feel like San Antonio is really culturally rich in many different ways across the board. Go to exhibitions by different organizations and individuals and listen and talk and learn. One of my projects with other artists was I had for several years I had Lost Dog Studio and would bring in younger people that didn't have experience in putting together art exhibitions and give them the opportunity to curate one. And the process of getting your art out there. So, and that's one of the things organizations are really good, is that it allows artists to have a way of sharing the art and what they're trying to communicate in their art with other people. Otherwise, what's the point? So the first piece is called Blessed Running Child, and it shows a toddler who is floating and in greenish tones above a mother who is in a recliner, covering her mouth in horrified sorrow because I did this during the Afghanistan war. Because like many mothers, she had received notice that her adult soldier had passed away, and battle, had been killed. And what she sees is not just an adult man, but the innocent child, the baby that she had raised. The other image is based on the feelings I have of affection for San Antonio, and I would go out to the west side to my mother's house in the evening, and her house had huge two-story windows and was beautiful, and I would then drive from the west side towards downtown where I lived. And I would go down Highway 90. I would feel all sorts of nostalgia for all the years I've lived in San Antonio and my love for San Antonio. And so in the night, with the downtown glowing and the lights leading into downtown is just my love affair with San Antonio.